through the lunch hour and into the second half of your day.
It's the Chad Benson Show
On Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I am looking CNN. It is the lead story on CNN right now. Buck snort. It is, that blast. I have no idea. I mean, there is nothing left. Wow. That is just insane. So we'll be covering this throughout the day. Again, massive, massive blast it's Hickman County. So what is it, about 60 miles away from here, give or take? Something like that?
Yep.
And they're a military company, military-grade explosives, things of that nature. And so it's wooded. And then they've got, like a little area where they'd have, it seems like there's several different buildings on this, this complex. But the ones where the explosion, there's nothing left. And they're now saying some people dead on CNN, not just one. And several still unaccounted for, some in the hospital. Wow. Look at that. That looks like a war zone. That looks like an absolute war zone. So obviously we don't know what happened. We don't know what took place. What we do know is, again, this morning, massive explosion at a facility that manufactures military-grade explosives. And there is, some people are reporting it's 19 people missing. I don't know how many people are actually missing because in times like this, stories are fluid, as we all know. And they're going to have, Ken, am I correct? They're going to have some sort of update here in a little bit?
That's what we were told.
Okay. Good God. It is, it looks like we droned it. That's what it looks like. Fires are still burning. And, man, imagine just going to work today and just all of a sudden, boom. That's it. Was it like a month ago at the, it was L.A. County, right? The bomb squad, where they practiced. They got blown up. That was crazy, too. And everybody first says, was it terrorism? I don't know what any of this is. So nobody knows what's caused it. The mayor's come out and said nobody knows what's caused this. So, because there's going to be a lot of, I've already seen it on the interwebs, kids, already. It's terrorism, it's this, it's that. How about a place that makes explosives? Sometimes things can go sideways. So we'll know more, I'm sure, coming up a little bit. A lot of stuff to get to today. Trump didn't win the Nobel Peace Prize. Just want you guys to know that. In case you guys didn't know that. By the way, the lady that did win it, she was contacted, and she dedicates it to Donald Trump. Part of the reason she did that is because she knows that Trump is probably coming with the military to help Venezuela. Oh, my Lord. You know what? We just can't have a normal day. I had all kinds of cool stuff. I was super excited to tell you, Ken, how proud I was of my daughter this morning. So proud. My wife made me a sandwich, and she says, I'd like a sandwich too. And my wife goes, what do you want on it, Charlie? She goes, I just want mayonnaise. She goes, you want cheese or anything? She goes, nope, just mayonnaise. She had a mayonnaise sandwich. I was like, so proud of you. She gets it. She doesn't listen to the show. Nope, she doesn't listen. She likes Buck and Clay. Oh, God, yeah. I am, you don't realize how massive and powerful certain things are. And, looking at this here, and again, we're supposed to have some sort of announcement and press conference, hopefully in a little while. Ken's digging up to see what else he can find. But the explosion is so massive. And some of the cars that are in certain areas, I can tell you those cars weren't in those areas to begin with. And it just, it looks like, it reminds me, it looks like sometimes when you see a plane crash at such a high velocity and all you see is a bit of the ditch or whatever, and then there's just some papers and some smolder, that's what it looks like. And it is a awful situation. And hopefully there weren't 19 people missing. Hopefully, the number got wrong because, again, the fluid situation that these things are. People are running around. They're doing certain things. Not everybody knows where everybody is. And hopefully, God willing, this is something that is they estimated it was 19 and it was only 3 or 4. God willing. God willing. Just insane. A lot of stuff to get to. Like I said, we're going to talk a bit about the Nobel Peace Prize. The lady that won it, and I say, this is the way I looked at the Nobel Peace Prize, because a lot of people, yesterday I was pulling for Trump, but I knew he wasn't going to win this year, right? It's like, if you want to get an Academy Award, so let's say I want, Bell and I produced the greatest movie of all time, but we're going to release it in February or maybe January. Well, guess what? If we don't release it this year, we're not going to be in the Oscars next year. It'll have to be the year after that. So I think next year, there's a good chance he gets it. There is a good chance. And, I know people gave the guy who runs the Nobel laureate thing, they gave him a bunch of crap because he was all, because everybody's like, he rolled his eyes at Trump. Because they asked him, hey, what do you think about Trump lobbying for this? Because he says he deserves it. And he goes, we get thousands of people to send us stuff every year. And you'd be surprised how many people lobby us, basically, who want it. Tons of people do. So, everybody just slow your roll. I think he's got a shot next year. Let's see, and even if this thing I don't expect it to be perfect. I don't expect this thing to last forever. I think there's going to be ebbs and flows in this. I think there's going to be times when they're going to go at each other a bit here and there. But I think it's going to be a little bit stronger because you've got people on the ground now that are a coalition of people that have nothing, to do as far as, well, maybe us a little bit more with Israel. But the fact that we're working with people in Gaza and Palestine, that's a win too. And they're trusting us. Understand, they're trusting us. Listening to people over there talk over the last couple of days saying, yeah, we're going to trust Trump. We're going to have to trust him, which is something you normally didn't get. They didn't want to trust the West. And they're like, we're going to have to trust him. And same thing with, we were talking about yesterday, Ken kept telling me, okay, they're still in the meeting because that thing didn't get done until late, early morning today, the passing of it. And the finance minister and which is the Smodrick guy, and Ben-Gvir is kind of like their Department of War guy, their Ministry of Defense. Both of them said, don't take it. We're going to resign. And the hardcore right Zionists, they said no, but there was enough to pull them across the line. So you still have a lot of people inside the cabinet that want no part of this deal. Said that, nope, we should finish the deal. We should go do this. So it was close, but you know what? It got over the line. And I think Bibi said, look, guys, this wasn't a suggestion. This wasn't, hey, take it back to your pals and see if they're okay with this. This was, guess what? We're doing this. Well, we don't want to do it. Well, you know what? We're doing it. So we don't want to. Doesn't mean we're not going to, because we're going to do it. And they did. Officials will give an update soon. Deadly blast in Tennessee. It is ferocious. Bell, real quick, you can jump on the mic for me. Who's from there? Who did you say was from there?
I can't remember I think it was Minnie Pearl, but that might have been, I can't remember, to be honest. I think it was Minnie, but I'm not positive.
Yeah. So we're trying to figure it out today. But it is where it is. And if you guys are if you haven't seen the news and stuff, it is it's a huge complex. That's just like they bought acres and acres of stuff because they test stuff out. And there's several buildings on the complex, but you can't see, like if you're driving by the road, you're not going to be able to see it because the trees are everywhere. It's like a big forest. And in the middle of it, there were several buildings, and those buildings are gone. Done in certain areas. And not done, as somebody just said, because I said earlier about what it reminded me of, was it Bucks County is where that plane went down in 9/11? I think that's where it was, in Pennsylvania. And there was nothing there but a little hole, and then it was just a little bit of flames and just pieces of paper everywhere. That's what this looks like, except cars are on fire. It looks like it's the Middle East, like, stuff just got bombed. I mean, there is nothing there. Minnie Pearl, you're correct. Many. Loretta Lynn's from down there as well. So if Donald Trump wins it, can he keep it at the White House? It's yours to keep. So it's yours to keep. He's going to make it a belt. You know he is. So, Minnie Pearl, you were correct, sir. Minnie Pearl is from there. So we're going to have a press conference. They're going to update everybody. What we know so far is not a lot outside of the explosion and keep away. That's pretty much it. Keep away, explosion, nothing else. They don't know what caused it. They don't know anything other than that. So, because I've already seen the conspiracies everywhere, because I often wonder, how do you get a conspiracy up that fast? Because you got to think, okay, I got to get it in my mind. How do I get it going? I mean, within 30 minutes, there was already people going, you know who did this, right? I've seen the Mossad. That was a good one. I've seen, it was Antifa. Of course, Antifa's everywhere. Sometimes Occam's razor, military complex that creates explosives for weapons. Maybe something happened. Maybe. We'll see. And they're supposed to update us. I don't know when, but what we know and what they're reporting so far, and this is from just about every news site, is multiple people are dead or unaccounted for. Took place at 7:45 this morning, local time. Devastating blast. Humphrey County Sheriff Chris Davis said at a news conference, it is beyond devastating. They've got several people at the time that were totally unaccounted for. They do have folks, he said, that are deceased. And he used the word folks with an S. So that means a few. How many? Accurate Energetic Systems LLC. It's about an hour southwest of Nashville on the Hickman-Humphreys County line. So, and it is, my God, the power of explosives. Just insane. So we're going to be covering this. We're waiting for the press conference. We're going to take the press conference when it comes on because I want to hear what they have to say. Everybody, the ATF's there. I'm sure the FBI's there. The TBI is going to be there. Everybody you can think of is going to be there because you have to also, even though the Occam's razor, it may just be the explosives and something happened that caused some sort of chain reaction. You make sure you check off the boxes of everything because that's what you have to do. So we'll find out about this, a bunch of other stuff. We'll talk a little bit more about what's going on in Gaza, what the actual first phase looks like as well, how that breaks itself down. We've got your Finally Friday sounds, a bunch of other stuff. This is the Chad Benson Show at Super Talk 997. Bulwark Capital wants to help you when it comes to your investments, your retirements. And this is what's amazing about Bulwark. They want to give you a second opinion. You'll hear all kinds of stuff about I should try them. How about this? They want to give you a second opinion what you've already got going on. No hard pressure, no sell. They'll take a look at it, show you what separates them from everybody else, lowering risk, lowering cost. They can all say that. But what I do know is I work with them. My family works with them. They're amazing. And the way that they invest globally is incredible through active management. They're always looking for places where they're looking for value buys in real ways that others just don't do because everybody's like, you got to be in the S&P and you got to put it here. They just do it different. So get a free second opinion from my friends at Bulwark Capital. Go to knowyourriskpodcast.com, KNOWyourriskpodcast.com. Sign up today or call 866-779-RISK for Bulwark Capital Management. Investment advisory service offered through Trek Financial LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Investment involved risk, not a guarantee. Past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Trek 25284.
Reports say multiple people are dead following that blast at the Accurate Energetic Systems munitions plant in Hickman County. We'll get you the very latest on that. Also, we're still waiting for what the official security threat was there at Fort Campbell this morning. The U.S. Army says everything's under control. They just have not said what caused the threat. We'll tell you about that and more coming up at 12:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Every time we turn around, it seems to be, we say to ourselves, damn, it's been a hell of a week, and it's been a hell of a week. You know what? Thank God it's finally Friday.
I'm just here keeping my eye on SNL, making sure they don't do anything too mean about me. And they better be careful because I know late night TV like the back of my hand.
If you didn't understand what I just said, you have 4 months to learn.
I'm very disappointed in you because you do have the power to call the House back. You refuse to do that just for a show.
Yeah, that's modern politics, ma'am. I don't know if you're aware how this works. If they paid you guys, then we wouldn't be upset with them, and that would give them, well, they would have to just come back and do their job. You couldn't blame somebody else. Oh, my goodness me. Trump is said, no, I'm not meeting Xi, and is now threatening to put more tariffs on China. Something happened. Trump was supposed to go to South Korea, and then they were supposed to meet, and he abruptly canceled today. So I don't know what happened. One thing I do know is they're not blinking, which I think a lot of people thought that was going to happen. And he has threatened massive, massive tariffs over rare earth deposits. So it's just kind of a real quick, something happened. Next thing you know, now I'm not going. And of course, this is Trump, so it could change tomorrow. Xi could back down, or they could just, we could see more and more of the tariffs, which is what's happening. He said one of the policies that we're calculating at this moment is a massive increase on tariffs on Chinese products coming in to the United States of America. He accused China of holding the globe captive using rare earth metal resources, which that was part of the strategy. For years, everybody said the Belt and Road Initiative is all about getting into places where they could get all of the rare earth minerals, and then everybody was going to have to go to them to get them, which is a smart strategy. I mean, that's It sounds horrible, but how could you? It's a smart strategy. How has that not? If we could do it, we would, but we didn't because we didn't calculate it. That's why we have to double, triple, make sure that Venezuela doesn't have any of our rare earth minerals have gone missing. Have you guys seen them? We had them in our sock drawer, and then next thing we know, one of you guys was going through our stuff. So we're going to have to go through all of yours.
Information fuel, opinion driven, super talk.
Okay. I was pushing buttons in there. Here we go. Doing this again. There it is. Pushing the buttons. There we go. We're having fun. A lot of stuff still to get to today. We're, again, keeping our eye on the massive explosion not too far away from here, about 60-ish miles, give or take. Huge explosion at a facility that has military-grade explosives, weapons. I'm not quite sure exactly what they do. It's called AES, and what we do know is several people are missing, and there are people that are dead. How many? Don't know. They reported 19 missing earlier, but in any situation like this, understand that these things are fluid. So, you think somebody was there today at work, they may not have been there. All those kind of things happen. So, God willing, there isn't 19 people that have gone missing or died. But we're going to find out more. Ken has all the latest right here. Chad Ben Show, Super Talk 997.
.30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. We'll get you the latest on that blast in Hickman County in a moment. But first, President Trump has initiated mass layoffs of federal workers under the government shutdown, following through on threats to downsize the government. These layoffs being carried out as reductions in force, which permanently eliminate job positions rather than temporarily furloughing employees. The Office of Management and Budget confirming that they've started, although they haven't disclosed the exact number of affected employees or which agencies are being targeted. Reports say multiple people are dead following a blast at the Accurate Energetic Systems munitions plant in Hickman County, about an hour drive southwest of Nashville. Tennesseans from entire counties away report hearing and feeling the blast, including Will Nunley of Linden, Tennessee, who tells WTN's Chris Hanshow.
And I heard it just as if it would have happened 2 blocks away. I mean, just a massive boom that rattled the house, I would say, for several seconds.
Happened at Accurate Energetic Systems in McEwen. Here's Matt Rivers.
This is a company that makes a very wide array of different types of explosives for the military, aerospace, commercial, demolition. They're talking about TNT, claymore mines, avalanche control charges, pellets that are used in medium caliber warheads. There are a lot of things at this facility that are produced that explode.
So the Tennessee Emergency Management Agency says it has deployed district coordinators to support local response efforts. Accurate Energetic Systems has established a family assistance center. TEMA says it stands ready to assist the impacted families at this time. They are urging the public to avoid the area there around Bucks North to allow emergency responders to work safely and efficiently. We're also monitoring Fort Campbell, where there was a security threat this morning at Gate 10, but officials have not said exactly what that threat was, only that the situation has been resolved and the gate remains closed until further notice, while law enforcement and emergency services continue to search and clear the area. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Around the Nashville metro. Tonight will fall to the 50s and 40s. Tomorrow afternoon, we're back near 80 under plenty of sun. Again, chilly on Sunday morning, but the afternoon's in great shape. Weekend all around looks good. Sunday, we're in the 70s and good sunshine through the afternoon.
All right, guys, it's spooky season. Don't be spooked by the awesome deals at our friends over at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. How about this? Treat your family right, if you will. You want to be a part of the Beehive Club? And you're like, yeah, what do I got to do? Simple. Grab yourself a pumpkin, carve the pumpkin, and what you're going to do is you're going to carve Buzz the Bee, post it on social media, tag Busy Bee, and boom, away you go. They got great deals on everything from HVAC to plumbing. Upgrade your thermostat. You're going to get a free dryer vent cleaning. All you got to do right there is choose from the basic Honeywell or Go Pro with Wi-Fi control. If you got plumbing problems, they're going to flush your water heater with any plumbing repair, and then your pipes are going to have a smile on your face. But check this out. If you're ready for a new HVAC system, they got a scary good deal. Free 10-year parts, 5-year labor warranty, $750 value. Boom. So what are you waiting for? Don't get haunted by home hassles. See what I did there? Call Busy Bee today. Save big because the spooky savings are right there. Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, 775-7833, 775-7833, or online at busybeehvac.com.
Call Trajan today at 615-270-5000. 615-270-5000.
Advisory services are offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.
All right, Belly Buster, big savings right now, Contours, Cool Springs. What are you waiting for? Check this out. So you go in and you buy the Belly Buster, right? Because you got a little bit of a belly. Who doesn't, right? You know, ladies, men, we've all got that. Next thing you know, you're saying to yourself, all right, I hope this works. It's going to work. In fact, it's going to work so well, they guarantee you're going to lose 2 inches on your first go off your chest and off your belly, or you pay nothing. Now, when you buy the Belly Buster package, this is what you're going to get. It's awesome. A med spa facial. One of these things where it's not like the spa where you go and you just lay back and they do a face. No, this is something totally different. It's like getting a whole mini facelift without having to do the mini facelift thing. It's incredible. So what are you waiting for? Get over there. It's in Cool Springs. They're going to treat you amazing. And when I tell you how easy it is, they've got the most sophisticated equipment, and you just lie back and it melts away, which is awesome. The inches are gone. I'm fitting in my shirts better. Dan and I both done it. It's just great. You guys are going to love it. 615-236-9960. 615-236-9960. Or visit contoursllc.com to schedule. What do you got to lose but inches and wrinkles? Still waiting to find out if there's going to be some sort of press conference coming up soon for the massive explosion that took place today at Accurate. Is it Accurate Energetic Systems?
Accurate Energetic Systems, yes.
Good God, man. That is a hell of an explosion. So their Facebook page says they manufacture various high explosive composites and specialty products for the U.S. Department of Defense and industrial markets. That must mean they make stuff that blows buildings up. So a couple people have texted in that said they worked there. Said it's, you know what, they got lots of stuff. I'm not saying what he's going to say, but just say that there is they TNT, C4. They've got a lot of other stuff, tons of other explosives and ammo, as well as they said it's super gated. You can't even have like phones and lighters or any of that stuff in there. So it's, man, I'm telling you what.
Sounds like a tender box.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure I want to work somewhere. I mean, the pay must have been good, right? But you're going into work with a place that stuff explodes. That's the thing.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a terrible day for these families, man.
Yeah.
Terrible day.
Like you say, I mean, you're going to work and you don't think anything other than, I'm just going to work today.
Yeah.
Knowing that you're not coming home. That's not happening. And maybe people that you're working with are also not coming home, and not coming home like in a way that you couldn't even imagine. And the look, I mean, every time they show a new picture, you're just like, what was there? You know, when you see a building site and the only thing that you see are pipes at first, in the ground, that's all you see in some of these things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just absolutely frightening. And I know we're going to have some sort of, I guess they're going to have an update.
Well, that's what that's what we were told by the guy that called us, who was there on the scene, Will Nunley, who is a farmer there, who heard and felt the blast from an entire county away.
Which
he
is
also
crazy.
runs a radio station down in that area, and he gave us some very great reporting. But he said that authorities, at the time we were speaking to him, planned on having a media briefing at noon, but I don't think that has happened yet.
No, in fact, they said Tennessee officials here on CNN said they're setting stuff up. They're going to have some sort of briefing here in a little bit. I remember I was telling you, so my mother owned they had a big glass company, glazing company. The busiest they were ever in Southern California. Now think about this. California is one of those things where you have earthquakes, you have all these kind of things, and we don't have hurricanes or anything like that. But the Chevron station exploded. So the refinery exploded. Now, I don't think it killed anybody. Just like the one last weekend. I don't know if you saw in Southern California, there was a massive explosion at a refinery. But it blew the windows out for like several miles. And luckily nobody died because it went up instead of out. This here went out. And the fact that, I was telling Dan's like, I'm surprised we haven't seen any video. I said, Dan, the thing is, where are you going to see video? Because it's in the middle of a forest. So it's not like it's a house. It's in a neighborhood where everybody's got their Ring doorbells. You can see and hear the explosion. I know he played a couple of them earlier, but you're not going to, there's no Ring doorbells and cameras around there for a reason, because they're making stuff that's, kind of secret. That's kind of the best way to describe it.
Yeah, I mean, it was Ring doorbell cameras from a county away that picked up the blast.
Yeah.
So, and in the blast that we have, you hear what sounds like an explosion, and then you hear boom. I mean, I'll just play it.
Okay.
Very quickly. Let's see. So it sounds like there's almost 2 explosions. Let's see where is that at? Okay, here we go. You might turn me up a little bit there, Brother RJ. Turn it up a little bit higher. Okay. All right, let's try this again.
Oh.
So there's the initial blast, then the big blast, and then listen as it is just echoing.
The sound's just moving right through there, like because it moves. God, so fast.
And you think about this, Brother Chad, a munitions plant. In my mind, I'm thinking there's a lot of explosives sitting around.
Yeah.
And you might hear boom, bam, boom, one going off after another. It sounds like this place like there's the initial boom and then the entire place just in one big blast goes.
So shockwave. That first, it's a chain reaction, right? And it only takes a little tiny, because at first, when I first heard it, I thought it almost sounds like a gunfire, that first one. And then everything takes off.
Yes.
So,
but I mean, I don't know if you'd pick up a gunshot from that far away. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
And they haven't said yet, but
no.
Yeah, the images right now, that place is gone.
Yeah, there is no, there's nothing. I mean, I don't know what was there, but I know that whatever it was a fairly decent sized building. And now all that's there is where the building used to be and a couple burning trucks. Man, that is just, and I know they come out and they said there's 19 missing. I don't know how many people were there. And you're hoping some people just didn't make it to work that day, or they were late, or they were in another building, maybe on the complex or whatever. Because I don't think you're going to find somebody in a tree somewhere, or still alive.
It'd be great if you did.
But
I mean, from the looks of that, if anybody was in that building, it is going to be a miracle if they survive.
Yeah, it would be an absolute miracle. I mean, they
do happen.
Yeah,
they do happen.
There's miracles do happen. You're 100% right. Miracles do happen, and God willing, though, that there were only a few people in that building, and they've already said there are multiple deaths. How many? I don't know. And I know the sheriff came out and said that it's going to be days before they have really kind of an idea of what took place. But I would assume you work around explosives. I'm not saying anything nefarious happened, because that's what the FBI and the ATF are going to look at, and I'm sure Department of Homeland Security will come out. But God, just you go to work. Just thinking tonight's Friday.
Yeah.
And then it's over like that. In a small town, too, several people have chimed in and said they work there at one time or another. It's just a lot of family and friends that work there.
Sure.
Small town. Everybody kind of knows each other. So have you been there?
I've never been there. I've driven by. You drive by Bucksnort, right there off I-40.
Yeah.
But I've never been off the interstate in that area.
It's just it's rubble. I mean, that's what it is, rubble. And I don't know how many, because the complex or the area they have is very big, right? It's hundreds of acres, if I'm correct. Because you're obviously not going to do this in the middle of the city.
No.
So you have to be away from people. And I don't know if there were other buildings, it looks like, that are on, like you go through they said that it's gated, fenced, they got all this stuff. Well, yeah, it's explosives. And then let's say several people who worked there said it could be anything. A lot of people said that at one time or another they worked there. They said a lot of this stuff, though, is much more stable than you think. So, again, a horrible situation. We're going to keep an eye on it in the next. They're supposed to have a press conference, and I don't know if the FBI is sending people out there too to have because a lot of times, if you're going to end up having to pass it off to somebody who's got in a higher pay grade than you might have to wait for them to get there. But what we do know is several people still missing. There are some people that are dead, and it was massive explosion. That's the kind of thing you'd see on a Richter scale if you had one.
Yeah. People as far away as Williamson and Murray counties said they felt it.
So, my goodness.
And then Stefano DiPietro was actually showing radar picking up the smoke.
Oh, wow.
That came from the facility after the blast.
All that's there now is smolder. And I was saying, Ken, some of those cars where you see them, those cars weren't there. They weren't parked there. They were moved there by the explosion. You could tell some of them had just been thrown around. Oh, good. What can't have a normal Friday? I thought, I got some fun stories to tell today. We're going to come in and we're going to do this. And the next thing you know, we heard about this. What happened at Campbell? What'd you say? There was somebody tried to breach?
The Army is not saying exactly, but there was a security threat at Gate 10. They evacuated personnel and families near there, and they say everything's under control now, but Gate 10 remains closed until further notice while they investigate and clear the area. Of what they're clearing, they are not saying. So we have no official word on what exactly the threat was. But, of course, you've got social media.
Yeah, well, trust me, social media's already told us what it is.
Right.
So we don't even need to go to the news, right? Social media's told us everything. Somebody, I'm sure the Jews are going to get blamed, somebody for something. Then there's going to be Antifa. That'll be the Chinese, of course. And then incompetence. And then, who knows what else. Of course, you got to think of jihad and the Al-Qaeda, ISIS. I don't even know who's around anymore.
And who knows? I mean, maybe what's circulating on social media is accurate, but I've got to go with what officials say.
Yeah, and the other thing is, even when stuff's accurate, too often it's been missed 5 times before you get to the accurate part.
Right. Yes.
I was like, oh no, it wasn't this guy. Because I remember, what was it, the Charlie Kirk thing? You know how many people posted stuff of other people that this is the person that did it, this is the person that, and none of that was real. And it's the same thing, here. I'm already seeing a bunch of stuff pop in, and I'm just laughing. Just like, it's not. You don't know anything. You're not even. You're just putting stuff out there because you want to stir the pot and get a lot of likes and clicks. And I've never got that. I don't get it. Like you said, man, I'm going to measure twice, sometimes 3 times before I cut. Oh, speaking of measuring, did you get yours, Ken? We got our food. I don't know if
you. Goo Goo Cluster.
Goo Goo Clusters. All right, we got the Goo Goo Clusters. It is awesome. Commissioner Stewart, was it McWhorter, came in and they dropped off the stuff for us today because they heard us talking about it yesterday.
Really?
Yeah, that's it.
Well, thank you.
And so they heard us talking, and I'm like, all right, you know what? You're good people. You're good people, so we're going to do this. We're going to try some of these Goo Goo Clusters. See how this goes. Now, we got the original, the pecan, and the peanut butter. I'm excited for this. Did you hear my daughter had a mayonnaise sandwich?
I did hear that.
So awesome, man. She just loved it. Mayonnaise she knows. She gets it. She understands mayonnaise is the greatest of all condiments. She likes mayonnaise, and she likes sour cream. That's her jam. A little bit of ketchup. But those other two, those are the winners. All right, coming up, we're still waiting to hear from the officials out there in Buckshot. Massive explosion today. They're going to be giving an update, hopefully in the next 15, 20 minutes. We'll carry that. Ken's going to have the latest on everything. This is Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
And streaming on the Super Talk 99.7 WTN app.
All right, guys. Medicare. I know. You know how frustrating it is for a lot of people? It's like fashion, right? You like this. Yeah, like that outfit. Guess what? That outfit's out of style and you can't get it anymore. Oh, no. Yeah. Medicare's kind of like that. You like your plan, they roll it out. You can't get it anymore. Now what are you going to do? 2026, fast approaching. Chapter is what you're going to do. All right? So, and don't count on Medicare agents. When you call all these insurance agents and stuff, you know what they're going to do? They're going to put you in plans to get them the most commission. Let me tell you what Chapter does. They compare every Medicare plan. Doesn't cost you a penny. They do not work with the government or big insurance companies. They work for you. On average, they save seniors $1,100 a year by working with Chapter. I sent my mother-in-law to it because she was frustrated. They're getting rid of her plan. And she said within 15 minutes, because everything's done within under 20 minutes. You make a phone call, it's done within under 20 minutes. You're going to get all of these completely free plans that you can compare to one another. So why don't you do this? No gimmicks, no pressure, just honest advice from experts who know Medicare. And this is the easy part. Grab your phone, pound 250. And it's going to go right there. Keyword is Medicare plan. That's it. Pound 250, keyword Medicare plan. Get with my friends at Chapter. They're going to take care of you. They're who I trust. Pound 250 and say keyword Medicare plan.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
All right, drivers got a crash blocking the right shoulder 24 eastbound at the Rocky Fork Road overpass in Smyrna. Federal layoffs are officially underway as the government shutdown stretches into its second week. We're talking layoffs, not furloughs. It's permanent. And we'll get you the very latest we've learned after this morning's explosion there about 60 miles west of Nashville in McEwen, the Accurate Energy Systems manufacturing plant. Coming up at 1 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, can I crack one of these goo-goo clusters open?
How you like that?
I'm eating the peanut butter one. It's freaking amazing.
Yeah, they're good.
Oh, this thing comes with diabetes. It's so good. It is amazing. I cannot believe. And several people said, just do the peanut butter one. That's all you'll ever dream of. You were correct in that. You were absolutely correct in that.
If only we had some mayonnaise.
Only we had the mayonnaise, baby. This mayonnaise. Somebody called me a libtard. I don't even know what I've said that's been libtarded. How did we get there? Have I said anything that's dangerous or crazy or wounded someone's feelings?
You said that there might be people that think the Mossad blew the factory up. And that's
no, but that wasn't. Somebody text that in, not me. Somebody text that in, and then the person after them texted, "Is anybody blaming the Jews yet?" Again, none of those are my sayings. I would, no problem saying stuff, but that wasn't me. So
we got to give proper attribution.
That's right. So, yeah, Steven, get down with your goo-goo cluster. I got to be honest with you. Oh, the peanut butter one is amazing. So these are awesome. I don't know where you guys been hiding these things. You know what? Good that you're hiding them. Don't tell me anymore where you're hiding them. Because I would walk in and buy way too many of them. That's why I don't go to we have this gourmet donut place near our house. Will not go there. Will not. Because I know I'm going to go in there and I'm going to buy a donut and then I'm going to go, it's within walking distance. And in my mind, I'll work it out. It's like, you know what? It's like a little workout. I go, I walk over, I get my donut. I burn the calories, walk back. No.
And then you go, more.
Oh, yeah, good. Although now everything's so damn expensive. I was surprised how expensive a dozen donuts from Krispy Kreme was.
Yeah, what was that again?
$19.
$19 for
$19. That's crazy. That is. The Russians blew it up, said one person. Somebody's going to say, oh, now you hate the Russians. You're Russian Semitic. Is that even a word? Russianism? No, I made that one up. Oh, goodness me. Coming up, a lot of stuff to get to. We'll talk a little bit more about what's going on in Israel. That's interesting. And I got an interesting story about something that was huge news a little while ago. And how I came about it, it was just a trip last night. Talk a little bit about that. And again, we're going to keep you updated. We're supposed to have a press conference about the massive explosion that took place about 7:45 this morning, about 60 miles outside of Nashville. And it is it's a horror show. I mean, it's apocalyptic where the explosion was. So we're waiting to get the press conference. We'll carry it live as soon as it is available to us. It is Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 997.
One o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. We'll get you a full report on the Hickman County explosion in a moment. But first, federal layoffs are officially underway as the government shutdown stretches into its second week. President Trump has started cutting federal jobs through what's known as reduction in force, a move that permanently eliminates positions, not just temporarily furloughs people. The Office of Management and Budget confirms the layoffs have started, though exact numbers and agency details remain unclear. Agencies like the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office have already issued notices. There are multiple fatalities after an explosion this morning at the Accurate Energy Systems manufacturing plant 60 miles southwest of Nashville in McEwen. A press conference At a press conference earlier today, Humphreys County Sheriff Chris Davis said several people are still unaccounted for.
Right now, we're prioritizing people that are involved, their families, and trying to be very compassionate toward them.
The blast reportedly felt at least 10 miles away from the plant, which manufactures, stores, and researches explosive materials. Residents warned to stay away.
It's not going to be something that we're going to be like a car wreck or something like that we're just going to clean up the debris and leave. We're going to probably be here for a few days.
This morning, Fort Campbell officials responded to a security threat at Gate 10. Emergency crews quickly evacuated the area, secured the scene. The situation said to be under control now. No injuries reported. Gate 10 remains closed as law enforcement continues to investigate. Drivers heading to Fort Campbell should expect delays and use alternate routes. Commercial trucks being directed to Mabry Gate, while private vehicles should use other entry points. And that's where your delays are going to come. President Trump is at Walter Reed for a physical today. Trump last had a physical exam in April, also at Walter Reed. ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers with the latest.
President Trump today is undergoing what he called a, quote, semi-annual physical at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center. The president told reporters Thursday he thinks he's in, quote, great shape and feels very good physically and mentally, but he likes to check things, quote, early. Over the summer, the White House said the president was diagnosed with chronic venous insufficiency after he was seen with deep bruises on his right hand and swollen legs. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Still waiting for the press conference. Could start at any moment. Massive explosion today. We've been talking about it. And there's not a lot to say at this point in time that we haven't already said. Several people are missing. We've heard everything from 12 to 19. There are some people dead. The plant is a military plant. not a military plant, but a military facility that munitions. They make mostly stuff that for the military, although they do make stuff, I guess, by the sounds of it, if I'm correct, and I could be wrong, that is like if you want to blow giant buildings up.
Yeah, it's commercial and military.
If you want to blow up a mountain, they got that covered. And it looks like they blew up a mountain. So several people said that they felt like there was an earthquake. They were there. They heard it, felt it. And you don't know. Because sometimes you go, hey, was that a big truck drive by, or something like that? No, that was massive explosion. So we're going to find out. We're going to find out in a little bit the latest. Some people are killed. They're saying people, not persons. Originally it was one person. They're saying some people killed and several still unaccounted for. And you look at it, you think, my goodness, the amount of power that and force that leveled that building, and people are just going to work that day. And you heard the chief say, letting the families, that's what it's all about right now, the families. That's what it is. So we'll see. Today, Trump was bummed because he didn't win. He wanted to, bad. We all know he did. He wanted to win the award.
The Norwegian Nobel Committee has decided to award the Nobel Peace Prize for 2025 to Maria Corina Machado. She is receiving the Nobel Peace Prize for her tireless work promoting democratic rights for the people of Venezuela.
From what I understand, she dedicated it to Trump, and she is the opposition to Maduro, and she is loud and she's in hiding. Because, I don't know if you're aware of this, but let me tell everybody out there on the left, when you scream fascism and evil and authoritarianism, you do it, and you know what you're not doing? You're not in hiding. She's in hiding. Because if Maduro got a hold of her, much like what happens in, Putin's Russia, bad things happen. So I think Trump has a shot next year. It's possible. It is. If he doesn't get into any more wars, if he pulls us out a little bit more here and there, why wouldn't he have a shot? He should. I said yesterday he should get the award. So, but I know he really, really wants it. He even brought up Obama again yesterday. He's like, he got one. Just for what? For blowing up a whole bunch of people in the Middle East, because that's what Obama unleashed drone warfare like nobody has ever unleashed drone warfare. That's why Obama got it. That is why he got it. And the other big news for a lot of people out there is Letitia James. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't like lawfare. I think it's ridiculous. Trump is going after her, but I don't feel bad for her because they went after him. So I think it was ridiculous when they went after him, and I think it's ridiculous that they're being, essentially turnabout fair play. Here we come. We're coming after you. You said you were going to get me. You said you essentially had a conviction. You just needed the crime. And guess what? You can say it's baseless, this, that, and the other. You wanted to get Trump. You made it an absolute part of your campaign was to get Donald Trump. So to go, oh, these are all baseless things and blah. Maybe they are. You'll have a chance to potentially prove that in court. But as much as I hate lawfare, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it.
I've been vocal.
The other thing, now, Ken, I don't know. They're talking about the federal worker layoffs have begun. Have we have any idea what agencies they're blasting right now?
Let's see here. I don't have official agencies, just that the Office of Management and Budget confirms the layoffs have started. Exact numbers and agency details remain unclear, but agencies like the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office have issued notices.
Ooh.
And again, these aren't furloughs. They're fired.
Yeah.
They're gone.
You're done.
These positions are being erased.
So this is their Doge point 2.0 is what they're saying.
Yeah.
So the furlough is, you can come back and you go and they'll pay you when, this is over, but maybe a week, maybe 10 days, maybe a month. We don't know, but you'll still have a job. This is you don't have a job. There isn't any other paycheck after this. Bye-bye. I wonder how many they're looking at. I wonder if they're going to raise full agencies. Are they going to fold into it? And Trump's already gone through the Supreme Court. He has the right to do this. And he's going to take advantage of it while he can. He does need to get Mike Johnson needs to get off his butt, and they need to stop playing the game of it's their fault. They own it. You know what? Both of you guys own it. I think you think outside of the far right and far left for the most part, the exhaustive majority, a vast majority of us, you guys both own this. You will argue over spilt milk for hours, and then you'll both just leave and leave the cup and the milk there. Rather than just go, you know what, it was my fault, we need to clean it up, or we could do this together. Instead of that, you'll just go, and you'll walk away and leave it there. That's politics in a nutshell. And I think people are getting, sick and tired of it. I am. I mean, I told you guys yesterday, I played my buddy David Schweikert, who talks about how just ridiculous politicians have become, that he goes, I read for 4 hours. I gave this thing about, us becoming insolvent with Social Security. And he said, nobody else read it. Nobody else read it. And they said, we don't care because that's not going to get us on Fox. That's not going to get us on television. That's not going to get us likes. That's not going to get us clicks. And that's what our people care about. Well, what's that say about everybody else? If you don't care about how much groceries cost, if you don't care about the fact that energy prices have gone up and are continuing to go up, and by the way, it's about to get crazy. As soon as, and I'm telling you guys, if they even mention putting in any kind of area where they're going to power AI and computers, you fight it like there's no tomorrow. Because I've done several stories on my national show where they're putting in huge, massive servers and all these things to power these things. And what's happening is, this is what I found crazy. There are several states that have cut deals with these companies that if there's a strain on the power system, instead of those getting, powered down, the homes around there will be powered down and go into the rolling blackouts rather than the computers and the servers. What do you think that's going to do with prices of energy? People are frustrated. People are getting angry, and they're looking around going, you guys need to get back to work.
I've been vocal saying, you can use the nuclear option in the Senate. This doesn't have to be a shutdown. But what we have to do is we have to work for the American people. And our country is so divided right now. We see it all the time in every single way. It's divided in what I would say very dangerous ways. And we saw that with the recent assassination of Charlie Kirk, which has upset so many people across the board. And look, when it comes to hearing from senior citizens or my own friends and neighbors and my own family members and people that voted for me, and they're just saying, Marjorie, we just really want somebody to do something about health insurance premiums. We really want our government and our leaders to actually focus on our country for a change and fix our problems. That is the message I constantly hear from my district, and I'm a representative. I don't have to be a cheerleader for my party. I have to represent my district because those are the people that hired me and sent me here. And I agree with them, and I'm pretty much over it's just drama constantly on TV. No offense, because you guys are on television, but that's all that we see in American politics now.
Because we want reality television. Being boring and doing your job, people aren't interested in it. There's nothing to talk about. There isn't. There's no nuance in anything. There's no real conversations in anything. It's just meme culture, just hyperbolic rhetoric that wins the day. And you see that. The outrage culture is growing on a daily basis. And the reason it's growing is because we feed it. It's meant to serve whatever you ask it to serve. So if you like, fuzzy animals doing wacky tricks, you're going to get more of that. But if you love politics, hyperbolic politics, stuff that is over the top, that's what people feed on, rage. It's rage and anger. And nobody's interested in doing stuff. And you can't have a conversation because if you have a real conversation with somebody in politics, like where you sit down and nuance, all they want to do is go, well, that's because it's the Democrats' fault, or it's the Republicans' fault, or it's the Democrats' fault. No, it's the Democrats. No, it's Republican. How about who gives a rat's? I mean, Reagan said it best. Imagine what we could do if we didn't care who got the credit for it. But everybody cares who gets the credit. That's all that matters, is the credit. And when life is more expensive, as it is, and prices continue to go up, as they have been, it's always about the economy, stupid. But I think people are looking around going, wait, our military's going to miss their paychecks. Again, government's not going to miss their paychecks. And by government, I mean our elected officials aren't going to miss their paychecks. Some of them, Tim Burchett said he wasn't going to take a paycheck. But the thing is, that's great. That's that you're doing that. But can you go a few paychecks in a row without getting a paycheck? Probably Tim could, right? I think he probably could. I think Marcia could. I think a lot of them probably could go a few paychecks in a row without a paycheck. But if you're in the military, how many paychecks can you go in a row where you're like, I don't need it. I'm fine. I'm fine. So layoffs have begun. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, I've heard some people say the EPA, they want to lay off 85% of the EPA. That'd be huge.
Wow, 85%?
Yeah, I don't. Wow. You're not even functioning at that point in time. You're a failed business.
That's correct to say.
85% would be insane.
That's like a phone room. That would just leave a phone room.
It's, look, can some of these things shed 30 or 40% because you've got now AI? The problem with that is AI is, have you put it in? Have you started to work it? Because on top of AI being amazing and great, it still is, you've got to put it in and get people trained on it. And no offense, but I've seen some, government, I've seen some of your computer systems. They're a little antiquated. What were they talking about? Was it the, where they had the little, you would give them the letter and it would just, retirement, when you go to retire from the government. And it was in like a vault. And there was like a guy down there in the well, and you'd scurry it down there in a bucket and they would take it. They're so far behind. That's going to take years to catch up with a lot of these systems. But 85%, man, if that's true from the EPA, and that's what somebody texted, they said Dan or Joan talked about it, that's massive. I mean, you might as well fold what you have left into something else. Does Marco have any time on his plate to run the EPA?
That's right.
Because he's running everything else.
Yeah, what's he run? Okay, he's Secretary of State. What else is he running?
They gave him, what else did they give him? They gave him something.
Look at that.
He's the acting... Was it FEMA or something? I think it was something ridiculous, and I don't think they've taken it away from him yet. He's the, so Secretary of State and the acting National Security Advisor.
Yeah.
Oh, here he is.
Wow.
Secretary of State, acting National Security Advisor, and Archivist of the United States. Acting Archivist.
Marco Rubio, man.
Yeah. I wonder if he gets extra dollars for that. They give you a little kick, like if you're in football, right, and they fire the coach and you're the special teams coach, and they said you're going to be the head coach now. They give you a little bump in pay.
They probably just gave him some days off.
Which job?
I don't know if he gets days off. Although I do understand he does, like weekends for him From what I understand, that's it. That's family time.
Now, that's crazy because you're the Secretary of State. You're the most traveled. Realistically, Secretary of State shouldn't be in the United States that much. You should be all over the world. But when you're also the archivist and the acting national security advisor.
And acting administrator for the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID. So he's the acting administrator for that, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
He gets a few bonus nights in Trump Tower.
Probably. Bro, you're going to like it. It's fantastic. It's great. It's great. Everything's gold. All right, coming up, we're finding out more and more about what's going on after the big explosion this morning. We'll talk a little bit more about that. We're trying to find out what agencies are now furloughing people, firing people, locking doors, taking your key card away as the government is shrinking. So we'll see what that looks like as well. Ken's got all the latest updates on everything. It is the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 997.
On your favorite podcast platform.
Prize Picks is awesome. Now, let me tell you about Prize Picks. So, first things first, your knowledge of sports is going to help you in a big way. So, football's here. You got baseball in full swing playoff times. You've got hockey back. You have got basketball. Now, Prize Picks is going to help you. So, you pick a lineup. A lineup is two or more based on projected stats of players. So, what that means is it's more or less. So if you think that Jalen Hurts is going to rush for more than 62.5 yards, or Josh Allen is going to throw for more than 1.5 touchdowns, that's more or less. And you can even go cross sports, baseball, football, whatever it is. That's how easy it is. You pick and you go. Now, when you use Prize Picks app, you download it. First thing you do is use my code CHAD. Immediately, $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. It is that simple. Use the knowledge you have. It's a lot of fun. Start your winning right now with Prize Picks. Download the app today. Get $50 instantly in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Must be 21 in Tennessee. Gambling problem. Call 1-800-889-9789.
Federal layoffs underway. Tennessee explosion, multiple fatalities, about 60-mile drive west of Nashville, and had a Fort Campbell security scare today. Also, we'll get you an update on the Gaza ceasefire coming up at 1:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Here's some real news. Record-smashing mega baby born in front of horrified nurses, all asking the same question. What the hell? And guess where it was born? Nashville's TriStar Centennial Women's Hospital.
A massive baby.
13 pounds. It came out an adult. Trump's all, I am also 13 pounds. That's what it's. I'm 6'7", 13 pounds.
This baby got a beard.
You know what? It is. There's pictures of it. And little Cassian Martin.
Yeah.
So, wow. The nurses are horrified. I'd like to say that's probably ruined, ma'am. When people talk about having a big baby, like I don't know ball, but trust me, I know ball. Wow. They show a picture of it. And they show a picture of her right before. She looks like she's got triplets in there.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Wow, she's out there, boy.
Somebody said, did you have to push or did he just walk out?
That is a big little baby.
Man.
Look at that. Man.
So she had a C-section. Yeah. It's one of those C-sections where we're going to have to break all your ribs. Like, he's huge.
Little fella.
Huge.
Little big fella.
He's a little big fella.
Got little chunky arms. Little fat face.
Yeah.
I mean, this little fella, he's already got triple chins.
He does. Man, he looks like Kim Jong-un.
He does.
He does, right? Oh, that's not a good look, sir. It's not a good look. God, he is 13 pounds. Goodness me, that is insane.
Chunky.
That is, what do you think she was eating? Everything.
Man.
Is what she was probably eating. 13 pounds. I think Charlie was like 6.5. I think Jack was about the same. 6.5, 7. So it'd have been double that size.
Yeah.
Oh, Tennessee, we're growing them big here. We're growing them big. We're still waiting to hear. There's supposed to be an update soon. CNN and everybody's getting set up for it for the explosion today. How many people were killed? Nobody. Again, everything. 12, 19. I don't know. We just know there are a few people killed and some people missing. I don't know if people are in the hospital or not. Again, I've heard 20 different things, but the blast. There was no doubt this thing was a massive blast, and several of you have chimed in that you're 15, 20 miles away, and you felt it and heard it. And, based on the size of the explosion that we've seen as far as what's left, I'm surprised that we didn't hear it. It is a horrible day, no doubt about that. So they're going to have – they were supposed to have it about an hour ago, and they're still collecting information before they have this because people are going to have a ton of questions. We're going to carry it as soon as it's time. The area is just decimated. And I'm sure if some of you have gone online and seen it, it looks dystopian. The explosion looks like Gaza.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if there were multiple munitions or if, what the case was, but there wasn't a pop, 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 pop. It was just one big boom.
Yeah.
So it's like everything in there went off at the same time.
Everything. Yeah. It was like just the chain reaction. And then it's like when you see people throw like firecrackers, 1, 2, then all of a sudden, but instead of that, it just went boom.
Yeah.
Oh, my Lord. So Ken, I'll have the latest on that. We got some other stuff to get to as well. If you're missing the show, shame on you. Grab the podcast. This is the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
.30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. We'll get you the very latest from that Hickman County explosion in a moment. But first, federal layoffs have begun as the government shutdown continues. President Trump using permanent job cuts called reduction in force marking a major shift from past furloughs. Around 750,000 federal workers already off the job. More layoffs expected unless Congress reaches a deal soon. Stay with Super Talk 99.7 WTN for continuing coverage. Here in Tennessee, there are multiple fatalities reported after an explosion this morning at the Accurate Energy Systems manufacturing plant 60 miles west of Nashville in McEwen. The blast around 7:50 this morning felt miles away. Will Nunley tells WTN's Chris Hanshaw he was at his farm 30 miles away in Linden.
My first instinct was we just had a small earthquake here. This was unlike anything I had ever felt in my home. This was just as close to me as it could have been, even though it was an entire county away.
Residents warned to stay away from the site in case of secondary explosions. Accurate Energy Systems makes a very wide array of different types of explosives for the military, aerospace, commercial demolition. Fort Campbell's Gate 10 remains closed following a security threat earlier today. Emergency crews evacuated the area. The situation now under control. No injuries. Drivers should expect delays. Commercial trucks being rerouted to Mabry Gate. Private vehicles should use alternate entrances and be ready for delays. And again, the Army not giving us any details on what that security threat was. International aid groups calling for a major increase in humanitarian aid to Gaza immediately. The first phase of a ceasefire between Hamas and Israel went into effect early this morning. ABC's Jordana Miller's in Jerusalem.
Hamas is required in this deal to turn over its weapons. So what is the pace of it? What are the details? Who is Hamas turning its weapons over to? And Hamas leaders are supposed to be, some of them, given immunity and safe passage out of Gaza. It's also about setting up an interim government in Gaza. Who's on that governing council? That's going to be a dispute. The international security force that's supposed to come in. What countries around the world are going to make up that force?
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Capital Management Weather Center.
Good morning, Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky. I'm WSMV4 First Alert Meteorologist Stefano DiPietro. Temperatures today top off in the 70s under plenty of sunshine this afternoon with one or two spots trying to get near 80 around the Nashville metro. Tonight we'll fall to the 50s and 40s. Tomorrow afternoon we're back near 80 under plenty of sun. Again, chilly on Sunday morning, but the afternoon's in great shape. Weekend all around looks good. Sunday we're in the 70s and good sunshine through the afternoon.
United Structural Systems wants to make sure that whatever's going on in places you can't see are taken care of, where you've got nothing to worry about. Foundation, maybe you got issues there, right? Some issues in your basement, then come help. Crawl space waterproofing, basement wall stabilization, you name it, they can do it. Something may be sinking, you're like, what's going on here? That's why USS is there. Why don't you do this? Those cracks that you think maybe some water and stuff got in there, you're not quite sure, right? Have them come out. It's absolutely free. The inspections they're not going to charge you anything. And this is great, too. They're so amazing. They're not going to go out and sell you something you don't need. That's not who they are. 30 years in business, and they're going strong. So if you've got any worry about anything when it comes to your foundation, any structure, call USS today. 615-488-7855. 615-488-7855. Or check out everything they do at USSTN.com. phase 2 of the 20-point, whatever it is, the 20-point plan. What's the old saying? Never write your plans in pen, write them in pencil. I don't know how many things they're going to get done in this whole thing and this pullout, and but pullout never works. But the reality is, this is something that's not been tried, and sometimes you got to try something that's not been tried. And Trump and them, I don't know who's going to be in the squad, if you will, of people that are going to be in Gaza and Israel. The Emiratis, the Qataris, Egypt. Will Jordan send somebody there? Some Europeans are going to be there, which I think, both sides, there's a lot of distrust, and I get that. And, everybody's like, well, they didn't make Hamas fully give up their weapons. No, they didn't. Not yet. But they also, Israel didn't pull all the way out. So both of them have, to get through this. The first phase of getting back the hostages, the remains of, I don't know how many, and I don't even know if they're sure how much, because I read a few things today where they're not sure if there is some of that may be missing. And where do you keep that? Right? If somebody's dead, it's not like there's a morgue around there. So I don't know, how that exactly is going to play itself out. And then they're going to release, a vast majority of the people being released, because I heard yesterday everybody's like, they're going to release a bunch of jihadis. Now, what they're releasing is many of the people they're releasing at first or people that were arrested before October 7th. They still, and they've already been agreed upon, Israel and Hamas and have already talked. It's already been agreed upon who's coming home, who is still over there. I think the biggest question is, if there's going to be movement forward and you're going to get rid of Hamas, which is what should happen, and you're going to have to trade up a police force and stuff like that, which is probably going to be some former people that were Hamas at one point in time. Remember, as we sit here and say, how can you trust that? We tried to do the same thing with the Afghanis and the Iraqi. Remember that? Do you remember seeing all those videos of, our guys were trying to teach them how to do jumping jacks, and they had no idea? Well, yeah, they were fighting one day against the Americans, and they said, I'm not going to do this. I like to. So you're going to have to build a force. You're going to have to build from scratch something that this has not been done, because it's not just us. It's the beauty of this situation. It's not just us doing all the heavy lifting. It is going to be several others. And then the big question is, a lot of people are wondering, is Tony Blair going to be involved in this? Who was the former Prime Minister of England, of the UK, who blew up a lot of the Middle East, by the way, along with us. So that should be good. So we'll see exactly what comes out of this. But the first things first, get the hostages home. It's that simple. Then phase 2, disarming, pulling back even further. Then you can start moving into some of the other things. And there's going to be some mess ups. There's going to be some, a piece of paper could blow over there and somebody's going to take it. It's an attack. There's going to be some of that. But Trump got them, Hamas, and the likes to essentially say, all right, we're going to trust you. And Israel begrudgingly said kind of the same thing. We're going to trust you. We'll see how this goes. And now it's getting food in there, which is going to be another big deal. The amount of trucks they're going to have to start rolling in here is, these people are starving. And Trump admitted yesterday, look, 70,000 people were killed. 70,000. There's no win in that. There isn't. They've got their pound of flesh. And then some. And Trump got them to stop before it got to the point where it was untenable. It's become untenable for a lot of Americans, not only because of how much money we've spent, how much money we've given, but also because we're looking over there going, I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to be a part of any of that. Funding it, let alone, knowing that what's going on and how it's being perceived by the world and by a lot of you. Because I hear some of you are, I support Israel. My big problem with Israel was you were shooting yourself in the foot every day. And I don't support the killing of women and children at a rate that was 10 times the size of what was going on in Dresden, because that's the one that's always brought up. It wasn't even close, according to their numbers, Israel's numbers. So, but they got the vote out last night, which was going to be, Kenny and I were talking about it all day yesterday because they were meeting. I bet that was a doozy in there.
Yeah, it went for hours.
Yeah. And Smodrich and Gavir, so one of them's the finance minister, that's Smodrich, and he's very much a Zionist, like the hard right, and Gavir, who is their like defense minister, both of them threatened to resign because they don't want this at all. They want to finish the whole thing off, and the Greater Israel Project was they both want that. And Trump said, no, Bibi, we're not giving you like, hey, here's 4 choices. The choice is, this is your choice. There you go. It's not a take it. And if you don't like it, bring us back what you guys are talking about, and then we'll give you another offer. It was, this is it. This is the way this is going to go. We're done. Take the win. 1 step forward, 2 steps back, 5 steps forward, 2 steps back. It's the way it's going to be for a while. No doubt about that. Still waiting, man. They're keeping us waiting on this press conference. Oh, God, it's like several of you are continuing to text about several of you have felt the explosion from today, how big the explosion was, and some of you have sent some pictures in as well. Speaking of pictures, Ken, guess what I just got sent?
What's that?
116th Special Operations Aviation Regiment, SOAR, in Trinidad, right off the coast of Venezuela.
Better look out if you're in one of those Swift boats.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels like it's getting closer. So it feels like it's getting a little bit closer right now. Trinidad and Tobago. So this will be interesting. And the lady who won today, the Nobel Peace Prize, apparently she said, I dedicate this to Trump because we know he's coming here to get rid of Maduro. $50 million bounty on his head. I'm surprised nobody has taken it up there. That goes a long way. I mean, that does. I mean, you're there and you're serving and you're seeing your country falling apart and you're close enough to Maduro and you say to yourself, $50 million. 50 million. If I get to him, it's 50 million. That's a lot. And he's a bad dude. We're not giving $50 million to one of our people. We are giving that to people that would like to make $50 million. That's how you do it. And that's double what Osama bin Laden they threw out there for him. Double. But I have a feeling we're just going to do it the good old-fashioned way, Ken. We're just going to invade on our own. They've surrounded it, they say. So Trinidad and Tobago is, what, 5.5, 6 miles away from Venezuela? That's where they're stationed, where they're at. And he knows it. Oh my God. He totally knows that it's coming too. He's seeing it massed out there. And the fact last week, while all the other stuff was going on last week, in the middle of the negotiation with the Maduro regime, Rubio calls the guy that's doing all the negotiating, says, "You're done. Get out of there now. We're done." And they said he abruptly got up and said, "Thank you," turned around, walked out. That was it. So that kind of sends another message that, we're not interested in negotiation now. So we'll see. We're finding out more as people are being laid off. A couple people text Ken, said they're with the National Guard here, and they were informed today their services will no longer be needed. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that is... I'm not quite sure it's 85%, but a few people have said, I heard it's like 85% that they're going to get rid of the EPA. I thought, my God. How many people work for the EPA? That's a good one. How many people do you think work for the EPA? Work for the EPA. Oh, let's see here. I'm saying it's probably a massive amount. 17 to 18,000 and a temporary workforce on top of that of 1,400.
Let's see. I've got 12,448 as of July.
Yeah. So they've been starting to wind down on that already. So I'm assuming the IRS, I think they're going to let go. I think they're probably going to do it across several. I don't think there's just going to be one wipeout of one agency because there's only so much that Rubio can handle. So it'll probably be several. I could see the EPA, them taking out some of that. I could see, I don't even know what's left because Doge decimated a lot of that other stuff. What else is left? IRS probably?
Well, they already had a bunch of layoffs.
Yeah. Man. Oh. Furloughed, and a couple people just texted and said they worked this week for free, and they were told next week, do not bother coming in. Didn't say they were fired, just said do not bother coming in. There's going to be some pink slips is what we're saying. Coming up, Trump tells China, no, I will not meet with you. We'll talk about that, among other things, straight ahead. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Birch gold. Awesome. Gold. Why gold? Because central banks, people are bouncing. They don't want any part of it. They're looking somewhere to protect themselves. And you should do the same thing. The thing about gold is you can have the physical or you can move over your IRA, 401k, or savings into an IRA backed by gold. And why gold is important is at times like this, you've seen gold make a move, a weakening dollar, inflation, the chance potentially of a recession globally or even here in certain areas. It's just a smart thing to do to have a protection for yourself. And with the move that golds make, I still don't think that's over and then some. This is a smart thing for you to do. That's why Birch is there for you. Birch is awesome. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. I want you to text the word Benson to 989898 now. They'll get you out an info kit. It's not going to cost you anything. Let you take a look, especially if you're a first-time buyer. Remember, not quite sure what it's all about. Trust me, you will be impressed with what they can offer you. Text the word Benson to 989898 now for my friends at Birch Gold.
Layoff notifications going out today to federal workers. About an hour drive southwest of Nashville. We'll tell you what we know so far about this morning's explosion, which authorities confirm killed multiple people. Also this morning, Fort Campbell Emergency Services responded to a security threat at Gate 10. These stories and more coming up at 2 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right. So far, the affected agencies, Homeland Security, Education, Energy and Health, and Human Services. There will be several other. These are the RIFs, reduction in force. Doesn't say how many people they're firing, how much they're reducing in force. But it's happening 10 days in. So we will, because there's a lot of people like this. It's got to be 85% from the EPA. I don't know how many people are fired. I don't know how many people are being fired from the EPA. Now, would that be 85? Because at one time they were at 18,000. So, and Ken said they were down to what, like 12,500. So would you reduce it another 6,000? 8,000, get down to that 85% you dreamed of? Let's be real. If you survive all of these layoffs, you're pretty solid. Like, they like me around here. They like me. Trump cut off the meeting that he was supposed to have, told Xi, I'm not meeting with you. All right? You're playing around. You're screwing around. You've been a goofball when it comes to, press, these all of these things in the ground that we need, all of these things to help us, these minerals. I don't trust you.
Donald Trump don't trust China. China is
Yeah. He's not going to. And then he threatened more sanctions. Well, not sanctions, but tariffs. So, which is one thing about China. They're not blinking. I think a lot of people thought China would have blinked by now, but their economy is kind of bit motoring, and they're pouring some money into it. Did you see that bridge they built? That massive, giant bridge? It's one thing about the Chinese. Here we have so many regulations, which is good because, we don't want stuff falling apart. Doesn't mean it can't happen. Just look at what happened in Florida. Was it a couple years ago when that building collapsed? But they put stuff up. It's like yesterday there was nothing, and then the next day it's like a whole city. But that, that bridge they put up, if you guys have not seen that Chinese bridge, I think it's the largest suspension bridge in the world. And it is insane. It is 2,600 feet in the air. It's the tallest open glass cafe as well. It is incredible to see. And I'm thinking, why aren't we doing stuff like this? You go look at all you got to do is go look at the Hoover Dam, right? Go and think, wow, look what we did. If we were to try to do that today, it would take 400 years in permitting before we could do something. And again, I'm not saying we shouldn't have some regulations, but we don't need 12 agencies to do the same things with different letters. And if Trump gets his way, by the end of the day, there may not be that. All right, coming up, hour number 3 of the program. We're still waiting on the press conference that we're supposed to have. I'm not quite sure exactly when that is supposed to take place. It was supposed to take place 2 hours ago, but that explosion in not too far away from here, still waiting to find out all the information. Ken and I we're not there's no hyperbole with us. We're not coming out and throwing out numbers and saying all these people are dead and it was this group that did it. No, we want to know the actual real truth, even though some of you have been sending me some interesting things. We'll talk a little bit about that, among other things. Plus, an interesting story. Something happened last night when I was on TikTok, and I thought, I'd like to get that guy on my show. And then something happened after that, because maybe I knew the guy. Talk about that, a bunch of other crazy stuff, straight ahead. Friday edition, Chad Benson Show.
2 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Right now in Belshire, got an injury crash blocking the right lane, 24 eastbound just south of Briley Parkway. And in Berry Hill, an injury crash. The off-ramp partially blocked, 65 northbound off-ramp to Armory Drive. Full forecast in 5 minutes. Got a full report coming up on that explosion that authorities say killed multiple people about an hour's drive southwest of Nashville in Hickman County. But first, layoff notifications going out today to federal workers. It comes as President Trump and the White House have been threatening to make cuts to staff and programs while the government is shut down. ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers with the latest.
The White House budget director writes in a new social media post that layoffs of federal workers have begun. A spokesperson for the budget office said the reductions are, quote, substantial, but didn't give details on who was targeted and at what agencies and departments. Last week, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said it could be thousands of federal workers who are impacted, fired during the government shutdown. The president has called it a, quote, unprecedented opportunity and said he was looking to make cuts at what he called Democrat agencies. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
About 60 miles southwest of Nashville, authorities confirm multiple fatalities after the explosion this morning at Accurate Energetic Systems munitions plant. Will Nunley says he's a farmer who lives about 30-minute drive away and tells WTN's Chris Hanshow.
I was at my farm in Linden, Tennessee, which is, again, an entire county away from the scene. And I knew that this was not a rock quarry, this rattled the windows in my home. And it is about a 30-minute drive to get here to the scene from my home.
Accurate Energy Systems makes a very wide array of different types of explosives for the military, aerospace, commercial demolition. Also this morning, Fort Campbell Emergency Services responded to a security threat at Gate 10. The area was safely evacuated and cordoned off for an investigation. As of 9:30, Gate 10 still closed, while law enforcement and emergency personnel continue to search and clear the area. Officials have not said exactly what the threat was, but again, they say it's under control. Expect delays if you are traveling to and from Fort Campbell today as a result. 2 federal court hearings are being held today for Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the Salvadoran immigrant who was wrongfully deported earlier this year, then later returned to the U.S. by the Trump administration. One hearing in Maryland involves the government's attempt to deport Abrego Garcia again. The other hearing in Tennessee involves the human trafficking charges the government filed against him upon his return. ABC's Matt Rivers with details on the case here in Tennessee.
The federal judge assigned to that case has deemed it a credible enough claim on the part of the attorneys of Abrego Garcia, who have said that the government doesn't have a right to bring this case, that they're doing so because essentially they were mad that they were forced to bring him back from El Salvador. They're calling it vindictive. They're calling it retaliation. And so this hearing today, part of a process that will play out through the month of November to decide whether or not the government's charges in this case are actually valid.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
sunshine through the afternoon.
Getting you through the lunch hour and into the second half of your day.
It's the Chad Benson Show
on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Military families bracing for no paychecks. And they're not going back anytime soon. Looks like it's going to go through next week. So we will, they're laying off people. They're firing folks. They're riffing them. Reduction in force. So there's going to be a few people that are going to be looking for jobs next week in and around D.C. and some other areas. And some of you have chimed, you've texted us throughout the show today and said that you are a federal employee and you were told, you know what, you don't come back next week and we'll get back to you as soon as we know. So, I don't know how long they're going to go. They go until, like I said, 50.1%. The minute it becomes somebody's fault. The right points to the left points to the right, and all that should matter is something gets done. You guys do your job. Everybody's worried about credit. Well, what if illegals get health care? This isn't a forever bill. It's a continuing resolution. Right? It's not a forever bill. You know how I know? Because they don't do forever bills. They barely do regular stuff. They wanted to kick this down the curve for 10 days originally. And this should have been a budget, not a continuing resolution. So, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but I think what they're trying to do now, they're looking at ways they can maybe pay the military, if that's possible. But the military is also part of what they use to say, look, our military's not getting paid and it's your fault. What do you mean it's my fault? It's your fault. No, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. Don't care about fault. Pick up the mess that you made. Oh, several of you, we talked about the giant, massive bridge in China. And somebody's like, you need to fact check that. That thing is not 2,600, a half a mile in there. No, it is. It is. China's no joke. And somebody else said, that bridge is made of styrofoam covered in cement. Here's the thing about China that we don't do. That thing's probably put together pretty damn well. And the reason is, if it fell apart, whoever built it, whoever designed it, they die. They do. They'll put you right into a trial, and they are not afraid to sentence you to death. It was a few years ago, there was bad milk that killed some people. And I believe a vast majority of the upper management was arrested, and some of the leaders in the company were sentenced to death. They're no joke over there when it comes to that. Social Security and disability checks, they will come out. They will come out. They're going to send everything. Social Security is one of those things where they don't mess with that. It's weird how they've picked and choose some of these things. They're getting their checks unless they chose not to. But remember, if you've got money in the bank and if you're a politician and you have access to lobbyists, you have access to any of the things that you would normally use on a regular basis as far as your expenses, who cares if you miss your check? It doesn't bug you, right? You can go out. But if you're living paycheck to paycheck, you care about that. That matters in a major way. And do I blame, I blame both sides on this. I think Chuck Schumer is a muppet, and he needs to get his head out of his ass and get in there and say, look, let's kick it out 30 days. We'll negotiate and go from there. And let's get this done. And I think Mike Johnson needs to bring the House back in order in session and hammer this out and get this done. What can be acceptable for 30 days while you figure something out? There's got to be something. That's how normal people in a business relationship would act. But we're not dealing with people that are normal. We're dealing with people who want to score points. We're dealing with people that care more about, there used to be a thing in Hollywood called your Q score, your rating, where what do people think of me? Oh, I'm positive, 73%. Women really like me. Men think I'm okay. That's what they care about, their brand. Is my brand good? Is my brand bad? What can I do to improve it? What do I need to do? Look, I get more likes and clicks if I post something that is anger and is a meme that goes after the other side. All the while, people are going, well, why are groceries up? Why is life more expensive than ever before? Why aren't you guys doing your gig? Everything's negotiable. Everybody wants to spend money, too. That's the other thing. Everybody say, well, it's the Democrats' fault. Well, it's the Republicans' fault. Well, they're spending money. Have you ever noticed? The money spending never goes down. Whoever's in charge, they just spend more money on the stuff they want to spend more money off, and they take the money away from the stuff that you wanted to spend money on. That's it. Nothing else. It's not like, oh, there's no austerity measures in anything. We wouldn't even know what that means. An austerity measure? What? What's that? People care about the cost of groceries. They care about the cost of life in general. Gas prices, energy prices, rent. They care about those things. They're not interested in what meme you did or how much you blamed Antifa for something or how many times you called Trump a fascist. That's it. The average person doesn't care about that. The people who usually care about that don't have worries that a vast majority of Americans do. A vast majority. If you're a 24-year-old progressive girl calling Trump a fascist and saying he's going to make the world the Handmaid's Tale matters because you have no responsibilities. Unless you're a single mom or you're married, you have none. You're a single, young, if you're in your 70s, you're retired, your house is paid for, you got all the money you need, you watch Fox News all day, you care more about whether or not so-and-so, from a different country snuck onto Medicare. Okay, whatever. I mean, and Antifa is going to invade your neighborhood. But everybody else living in the middle, you know what we care about? Life, the expense, getting your kids to school, paying for their stuff, the cost of gas, you're getting your bill for your home going, wait, well, hold on here. Wait, what? How much did the heating go up? How much is the, oh my goodness. And more people, not only they live in paycheck to paycheck, it goes back to the same thing we've talked about, and we hear it all the time. How many people have a real solid emergency reserve? How many people could pay for a $1,500 repair on the car or 4 new tires? Or how many people out there go, you know what? I need new tires. I had them rotate 2 of them. I bought 1 used one and 1 new one. I think this should last for a little while. And if you've seen our roads and felt our roads, good luck with that. We should demand that they get in there and do their damn job. We should. The number one most important thing, go do your job, come to a resolution. It wasn't supposed to be easy. Our founding fathers set up our way of politics to be cumbersome and hard. So the extremes didn't dominate. They didn't want the wide swaths that we're starting to see because of the gerrymandering and whatnot. They set it up so it would be hard to get stuff done. They set it up so when you guys did agree on stuff, which usually you only agree on all just spending money, but when you did find something you agreed on, it was for the betterment of everybody. But when you found stuff that only you like, well, we're going to have to go to battle for that. We're still waiting to hear what's going on. The plant that blew up today, the pictures, there's new pictures every couple, hours that they post. It was a military, they said military-grade TNT and C4 were the things that they're saying probably erupted and started this explosion. And it is a massive explosion. It is at the, if I'm correct, it is called the Accurate. Is that what it's called, Ken? I think it's the Accurate?
Accurate Energetic Systems.
Energetic Systems, LLC. It's about an hour southwest of here, right there in Hickman and Humphrey County line. And how many people are missing? 19 is what we've been told, 12 in some other places. What we do know is however many people are missing are probably not coming home for dinner tonight. I think it's the best way to describe that. If you see the blast, there is not a lot left. I see they've got all the cameras set up. I have a feeling in the next 10 minutes or so, we'll be able to hear from the officials as they brief everybody on what took place today. It happened about 7:45. People, 10, 15, 20 miles away felt the blast, heard the blast. And when you played that thing earlier, Ken, though, you're right. There's two blasts in there. There's a small one and then a boom. So they manufacture high explosive compositions and specialty projects for the Department of Defense and U.S. industrial markets. So people who want to go blow up sides of mountains so they can, bore through them or do mining on top of that. People want to blow people up. They do that stuff as well. So we're going to be hearing from them in a little while. From what I understand, the ATF has been out there. The FBI, I'm sure, is out there. And then you've got local law enforcement. And they're trying to... You could hear it in the chief's voice that, look, we're making sure the families are taken care of. There are people missing because that's what you put, but we're making sure that the families are notified because as much as there's miracles that happened, if anybody was in that building, they didn't survive that. And how many were in there, I don't know. So talk a lot more about this. Got some other good stuff coming up as well. An interesting thing, we're going to do our Finally Friday, and then at the bottom of the hour, because I'm always, for my national show and for some of my other stuff that I do, I always look for just people that are interesting. And I came across this thing, and I thought, that looks like an interesting thing to talk about. And so I reached out to him, and I recognized the name, and the guy looked familiar. And I'll be damned if I didn't know who the guy was. And he was part of a big thing that happened here several months ago at the start of the baseball season. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well, because my goodness me, because I got a little bit of the scoop on some stuff that happened that caused everybody to go, ooh, especially over one massive player. And we've got more on the layoffs that are currently happening in our government. Trump is threatening even more. What we do know is Department of Education layoffs, EPA layoffs, Security Department layoffs. So they're not just layoffs, they're RIFs, reduction in force. You're done. These aren't furloughs. Here, goodbye, your last paycheck, and you won't be asked back. So we will see how many people maybe lay off. But he said today, if it's not open by Monday, it's going to be a lot more than this. So the pressure is on. Reach out to us across all of our social media. If you miss any of the shows, shame on you who have the podcast. This is Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Relief Factor. You guys should grab some Relief Factor. If you are sore in your body, if you're sore in your muscles, it's making some pain in some of your joints, Relief Factor is going to help you with that. 100% drug-free, research-based formula designed to support your body's natural inflammatory response. They've got some amazing, incredible things, including omega-3 fatty acids, resveratrol, cusamine, all this incredible stuff that helps your body. So when you're sore, when you're joined, especially from just exerting stuff, sometimes, you may just lift a couch or two. Next thing you know, I'm sore for 2 days. You have to worry about that. And if you're working and you're moving around more, this stuff helps major. And I do mean major. I'm lifting more weight than I have in a long time. Try a 3-week Quick start for just $19.95. It's less than a cup of coffee a day. You're going to experience the difference for yourself. Head to ReliefFactor.com. That's ReliefFactor.com. Grab some today or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4RELIEF for Relief Factor.
So officials are giving an update on the munitions plant explosion in Hickman County. Let's take you to that right now. It is in progress. You're going to hear Humphreys County Sheriff Chris Davis speaking.
I'm trying to be mindful when I talk to y'all today and do this. I'm trying to be very mindful of our families and our victims, okay? So please be patient with me on that. All right? Y'all ready? Everybody ready? All right. So at this time, we have been able to confirm that we do have 19 souls. That we're looking for. So, excuse me, I ask you to keep in mind those families. This is probably one of the most devastating sites, I think, Sheriff Kraft and I was talking about. It's probably been one of the most devastating situations that I've been on in my career. As far as the scene goes, we do feel that the scene is secure. We have ATF, FBI that are part, trying to figure out and recreate or figure out what actually happened to cause this. Do I see a short-term explanation? No. Do I see us being here for many days? Yes, I do see that. We've got we've got the bomb squad from Metro Bomb Squad here. I don't really want to get in to start naming all the agencies. I'm scared I'll miss somebody. We've got TBI, bomb and arson here. They're all working together. It's one of the things that I'm very happy to see is all of these agencies. It's not just one, but we've come together and we're making the very best team effort that we can to move forward. Happy to see is all of these agencies. It's not just one, but we've come together and we're making the very best team effort that we can to move forward. Please keep in mind that these families, and I've said it up front, I said it to start with, that's where our thoughts and prayers need to go right now. And we've just got to take one day at a time or 1 hour at a time. We're processing things. We're finding out more information. We're trying to figure out, maybe the cause of this. There's not going to be a short explanation for that. I know I may have repeated myself there a little bit, and forgive me, but we're all tired and trying to put together the best effort we can and remember the families and who we're working for. I do want to touch on Accurate Energetic. They are here with us. The facility's here with us. They have discontinued operations. They're focusing on their families, their employees. They're focusing on the next things that they need to do to try to make everything best for their people. We've got critical incident folks on the scene. I'm just sitting here trying to think through the scene. We got the critical incident people here for the families as well as some of the first responders. For those of you that don't know, it was about 7:45 a.m. this morning that this explosion happened. We had a really amazing response from the first responders, fire, and here again I commend those first responders because it was multiple jurisdictions. They worked together. They got the situation under control very quickly and safely. And when you see or you pull up to the things that they were seeing and doing and having to do at the time, they done very, very well. And anybody any questions?
Sir, you mentioned the word souls earlier. Can you tell us?
On Accurate Energetic, they are here with us. And anybody any questions?
Sir, you mentioned the word souls earlier. Can you tell us how many people have lost their lives?
I can tell you that we've had, there are fatalities. Do I want to put a number to that? Because I always, and those of you that have known me in the past, I always wish for the best. Is there a possibility that somebody might be injured somewhere or somebody that we don't know about? Yes. I can tell you right now that we're looking for 19 individuals. And a lot of times when I have this types of situation, I refer to them more than just a person. They're a soul to me. So we're trying to, I can tell you that we're missing 19 souls right now.
Sheriff, I was wondering how many people were working at the time and how many people were taken to the hospital.
I don't think there was, I think 4 to 5 individuals that was maybe even by POV. I can't talk about the ambulance part of that. And forgive me for some of those early questions and not being able to answer them. We've concentrated so hard on getting the scene secured, getting things moving, taking care of basically the security, getting the personnel that we need here, that I can't answer some of those early questions. So forgive me for that. I don't want to give the appearance that I'm avoiding that.
Have you had a chance to see the building and can you describe it?
Can I describe the building? There's nothing to describe. It's gone. It's, again, it's the most devastating scene that I've seen in my career.
Sheriff, do you know what kind of work they did in that building specifically?
I do not, ma'am. I do not. I'm not familiar with day-to-day operations of that.
I see a lot of family members are waiting. Are they waiting for confirmation about if their family member is missing, or what communication are they having with them right now?
We have communicated with the family. We've done it twice. We wanted to get some solid information because we was sliding a little bit in information that we were receiving and from past experience from the flood and those kind of things, that we wanted to make sure that we had the information, the correct information that we needed to talk with. So yes, we have spoke with families. Again, Accurate Energetics is taking care of those families and trying to do everything that we can to comfort them and get them the information as quick as we have it.
I know it's early in the investigation, but does it appear it's accidental or intentional?
I can't answer that. And it's something, that's a good question. And the reason I say that's a good question, in law enforcement, we have one opportunity. And that's the reason why you see a lot of things that we have to do in law enforcement. We have to make the worst assumption. We have to make that and prove it a way that it is an accident. So we only have one chance at the evidence. We only have one thing or one chance to be able to do the things that we need to do. And we're going to be slow, methodical, and diligent and do everything that we can to make sure this is what it is. And there again, we're working for those families and those people that were in that building to make sure we get, if they deserve justice, we want to be in a situation that we get them justice. And that's how we have to approach these situations.
Okay, and there was another report that there was a destructive explosion in 2014 in the same building that was operated by Rio Ammunition. Can you confirm that and tell me if there's some kind of trend going on?
Rio was on the facility. That did happen here. I was here during that time. I don't believe that it was at that current facility at all. Yes, ma'am, you had a question?
That was my question, is do you have any information about a previous explosion at this facility?
You have to remember, this is a huge compound, and there's a couple of different businesses that may operate within this facility. So I don't want to get into too much to the operation of the facility because they are a very delicate operation, and we have to maintain that.
Sheriff, I had heard some comments earlier about fallout outside the campus area from the blast early on.
Yes, sir.
Is that something you can confirm?
There may be some debris that went over the fence. I don't think that we're too far from one of the property lines, and there may be some debris that's on another property here.
Sheriff, you said the scene was secure. Does that mean it's stable and first responders have been able to access this?
It means that the scene is stable. The ATF and the FBI are.
At 7:45, was the plant up and running, or were people just arriving for work? Do you have any idea?
I believe the plant was up and running. Last question.
Have you been able to speak to any families directly, and if so, what are you telling those families?
We have spoke to the families directly, and we told them that we're going to be very transparent with them and get them the information and try to answer every question that they have the best we can. It's again, it's going to be a very slow process. Sheriff Kraft, you want to? Anything?
I agree.
May I ask you a favor? Would you repeat that louder, please?
A lot of different departments have showed up here. Did you guys contact them, or did they contact you?
We contacted them. I think Sheriff Kraft and I both got information about this very quickly. I don't mind telling you from the prior experience here with the Rio and the questions that y'all. I don't mind telling you from the prior experiences here with the Rio and the questions that y'all had. I immediately picked up the phone and called Commissioner Long, and I said, this is what I've got, this is where I'm going, because we are in a bad cell range, we are in a bad location, and Commissioner and I are personal friends, and he helped me get the agencies here that we needed and rapidly. So that was one of the things that I'm very thankful to him for that and that relationship as well. All right, last question. I think I might have said that. Anybody?
Well, Sheriff, I'm curious. After Waverly, another tragedy. Just talked about at the beginning, but just how are you feeling? How's the community doing after another tragedy like this?
My friend, I can't answer that, and forgive me for saying that. I can't answer that right now because he and I and the people from this facility, Mr. Stinson, we've concentrated so much on what is here right now and getting this stable, secure, and taking care of the people here that I hadn't been able to have any kind of feedback from the community. So I'm sure that I'll start hearing some things. We'll start interacting with things as time goes through this. And again, this is not going to be, we're going to close this up tonight. And we'll probably be here 3 or 4 days from now, 5 days from now. It wouldn't surprise me at all if we're here next week. But we're just, again, we got to go slow, methodical. So forgive me. I don't mean to avoid that question, but we just can't. I can't answer it right now because I don't know.
All right. That is Humphreys County Sheriff Chris Davis taking questions, updating the media on this morning's explosion there at the Accurate Energetic Systems Munitions Plant. Basically, he says there are 19 unaccounted for souls, as he put it. They are confirming multiple deaths. They're still not giving us a number, but one could assume it's probably the 19 unaccounted for souls.
The beginning of it, when he started talking about it, he could. I mean, there's the reason he was wearing sunglasses.
Oh, he's got tears.
Yeah, he was choked up through there because he, like I said, he wants to be hopeful, but he's, they just showed a Google Earth picture of before and after. It's movie-esque what was there and what's left. Yeah. I mean, it is frightening. Yeah, I don't. And I don't know if the 19 souls that are missing count for the people that may be in the hospital, because it didn't seem to, he wasn't sharing that kind of information. So are there more people in the hospital? And could there be, again, I don't know, but it was, you could tell, again, he wants to be hopeful, but it would be hard. He knows it'd be hard pressed because chances are he knew some of those people.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And you might have heard the reporters ask about prior explosions. Apparently there was another explosion here back in 2014, but nowhere near the magnitude of the one this morning. And he also talked about multiple agencies are involved with the scene there. He said too many to go over. So basically, that's where we're at. 19 unaccounted for souls, as Humphreys County Sheriff Chris Davis put. And it's going to be days. He says days they're going to be out there. And he doesn't know when we will know for sure what happened.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because there's going to be the normal investigation, but you're going to have the FBI. You may have the Department of Homeland Security. You're going to have the fire department's going to come because they're going to say, was this arson in some way, shape, or form? Was this an electrical issue? They're going to look at everything they possibly can to rule out everything. The whole thing is you hope to rule out this was terrorism, this was sabotage. You don't want to think that this happened on purpose. God willing, it didn't, as horrible as it is. But you got to rule everything out, and that's going to take time. Probably not, and everybody, it's not Monday either. I don't think we're going to get a call. He's going to come on Monday and go, yeah, we fixed it. We found out what it was.
Right.
I think this is going to take several weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Would not be surprised at all.
And with the explosion like that, are you going to be able to figure exactly what it was, too? That's the other side of it.
Right.
That kind of explosion, did it just evaporate any kind of evidence or anything that would say this could lead us to think it was this?
Or will they find remains?
Or will they find any remains? I don't know, man. That is
terrible day for these families.
Yeah.
Terrible day.
Absolutely. And you could, like I said, several people are chiming in, on the text line saying you could hear in his voice just how.
Oh, he's broken up.
He is. He's absolutely just busted up. So why don't we take a quick break here? We'll get back to it before we wrap up the show. But 19 souls. I think it's the best way to describe that. And keep them in your prayers today. Horrible situation. People went to work today and their entire lives changed. This is Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
DiPietro. Temperatures today top off in the 70s under plenty of sunshine this afternoon with 1 or 2 spots trying to get near 80 around the Nashville metro. Tonight we'll fall to the 50s and 40s. Tomorrow afternoon we're back near 80 under plenty of sun. Again, chilly on Sunday morning, but the afternoon's in great shape. Weekend all around looks good. Sunday we're in the 70s and good sunshine through the afternoon.
Beacon Capital Management, you know what they got for you? Opportunities. Take a look at some stuff you could save when it comes to your taxes. Things like car loan interest, above the line deductions, as well if you're over 65. Additional deduction up to $6,000 with a phase out when it comes to your Social Security. It's not a full elimination, but it's something, right? Here's the thing. It's the one big, beautiful bill. Very big, but opportunities are there. But these things phase out, and there's certain restrictions. Top of that, you may say, you know what, I'm okay with that, but I need long-term care. I need health care. What can they do? They can help you with that. Maybe you need the dollars and cents in the investment world that you're looking at. You want to make sure that your retirement lasts. They can help you with that. Beacon can do it all. That's what makes them the best around. And you can meet them, sit down, shake their hands. That's what I want you to do. Call Beacon today. Get a free personalized financial consultation. Take advantage of the opportunities that are available. See what Beacon can do to help you. Visit beaconcm.com or call 615-488-9303, 615-488-9303. Or again, check them out online at beaconcm.com. This is a paid placement.
Tennessee has 4 private prisons operated by coercion. Mortality.
Monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto right now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Call them right now to start the conversation. 615-499-5780. 615-499-5780. Get debt relief right now. LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. On approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Raycon, best earbuds around. Right now, they're celebrating their anniversary. 3 million people have bought Raycons. And when I was talking about these earbuds, you're like, are they really that good? They're amazing. You get a 30-day happiness guarantee, so you can send them back if you're not in love with them. Tons of colors to choose from. But the classics, the fit is incredible. And if you're going to go buy, earbuds and audio stuff, you go buy some of these things, you're paying $300, $400, $500 for them. You don't even come close to that with Raycons. And I'm going to save you 20%. And the fit is truly amazing because the better the fit, the better the sound quality. But also, you don't want your ears to hurt. Your ears aren't going to hurt. Ergonomically designed to fit incredible. Active noise cancellation, 8 hours of talk time, 32 hours of battery life, fast charging, multi-connectivity. I can go on and on. Try them. You're going to love them. Go to buyraycon.com/chat. Take advantage of their big anniversary sale right now. 20% off. Buyraycon.com/chat. Buyraycon.com/chat. Man, I tell you what a day. No doubt. A tough day indeed. A little while ago, we had the press conference on. Sheriff Chris Davis talking about the people that are missing. He called them 19 souls. And the explosion was massive. And you could hear it in his voice how he was struggling.
I ask you to keep in mind those families.
Think about that. Yeah, people lost their lives, but those families, their lives changed in a heartbeat. kids were at school today. They didn't know dad or mom wasn't coming home. And your husband, your wife, your son, your brother not coming back. The explosion is just, when you look at the before and after, and when they show it from the Google Earth, it is just incredible. I mean, there's nothing left there. Nothing. You would think that it was a work site that they were getting ready to build something on, that this one is the before and that the finish is the after. And in fact, you got to swap it. So they did military grade stuff for munitions and whatnot for not only the military, but also, big industrial things for mining, maybe taking down a house, the big, giant, huge, when you see those guys, they blow up the buildings and they come down. They were working with all kinds of stuff, C4, and it's a tough day. It's a tough day indeed. 72 hours has begun now for the ceasefire. It is underway. And they said all the hostages, Trump just said a while ago, will be released by Monday or Tuesday. So part of it, I'm sure. And I talked to a buddy of mine who is, maybe he's over there, maybe he's not. That's what he always tells me. I don't know where I am, but he'll text back and forth or WhatsApp me or whatever we're doing. We're goofing around. But he just said there's the chatter is that not everybody is in Gaza or Palestine. That's also, which means because they were running out of places. They were running out of places to hide some of them. And as they flooded the tunnels and blew up more and more places, moving them. And then the question about whether or not there is going to be how many of the people that they have remains-wise they'll get back. So that may take a few days. But by Monday or Tuesday, I wouldn't be surprised if by Monday, most, if not all, of the ones who are live back. The remains may take a few days. And as far as how they're going to handle the switch when it comes to the ones that are being released from the Israeli prisons, how long that's going to take. And they've already agreed upon this. That was one of the big things they talked about and agreed on who was going to get out and who wasn't, at least at this moment in time, not getting out of the prisons. Most of the people, not all, but from what I hear, most of the people that Israel agreed to are people that weren't involved. Many of them been in jail or in their prisons prior to October 7th. So they had nothing to do with this. But they didn't rule out releasing some people that they did take into that may have played a role, they said. Not directly, but may have played a role. So we'll see this weekend. It's going to be interesting to see, if they can go a few days without this and the food trucks getting in and Israel's pulled back to the line that Trump said. Because Trump actually said a line, and he was the one who came up, this is the line we're going to have right here. Like, this is the line. Unlike the last guy before Trump, Obama, who set the red line in Syria, and then that was crossed and he didn't do anything. I think Trump's line will be much more respected, if you will. All right, we're going to wrap it up. Talk to Matt on a sad day here in Tennessee as we've been talking about the explosion today that 19 souls at a munitions factory building. I mean, it's just the devastation, like I said, from the Google Earth to what's left of it now is just shows you how big that explosion is. So we'll talk to Matt straight ahead. This is the Chad Benson Show. Super Talk 997. Wrapping up the show on a Friday. The man, the myth, the legend.
Who?
Matt.
Me. Not me.
Murphy.
What's up?
What's up, man?
What's going on?
Quite a day, right?
It's been a day. We had the Fort Campbell thing, that bomb threat happening, and then obviously the situation in Hickman County, which is just awful.
Yeah, and still nothing about what happened in Fort Campbell.
Apparently a bomb scare of some sort.
Of some sort. And in fact, a little while ago in New Mexico, there was a lockdown of the Air Force Base, but they said there was an active shooter there. Turned out to be nothing, but there was something. So police are still there, and then of course you had the devastation.
Well, in this facility, I was doing some reading on it, that this facility apparently, I mean, obviously when you're dealing with these types of materials, I mean, one little mistake and you've got a very serious situation on your hands, because, one thing goes wrong and then
things go wrong.
All things go wrong, right? I mean, that's the problem. And apparently they had an explosion some years ago, and which caused some damage, and I think one person died from that, and this seems to be more tragic than that. That's awful.
Yeah, and it's listening to the police chief Jeremy, he was trying to be as optimistic as possible, thinking there could be a miracle. I want to believe that there's a miracle, but like you said, if you were anywhere near there, I find it hard to believe that somebody's flew into a tree or something like that. They can't find him. The explosion. And I was telling him, have you seen the Google before?
It's just...
It looks like one of them is a site where they're getting ready to build something, and that's actually the after.
Right.
Well,
and to me, it looks like it's one of these buildings, and we've all seen them, the constructed buildings where there are steel beams, and then it's just basically sheet metal above the steel beams, which that's what it feels like. I could be completely wrong. I'm just guessing, but that would, to me, explain, if you have an explosion like that, why. I mean, you don't even see bricks.
You see nothing.
You see nothing.
You see papers, some burning
and
things.
Burned cars.
That's burned cars. You see, otherwise, I was seeing it remind me of the plane crash 9/11, right? When Burkesville or whatever. It was just all you saw was big, giant, huge swath of where the
big
plane
scar,
and then just some papers and stuff like that. Like it incinerated. There was nothing in it gone.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because I was thinking that driving in, listening to you guys talk about the situation, and I'm thinking, you pray at this point. You pray that people were late. I mean, it's getting a little too late for that, but you pray that 10 of these people were at breakfast together or something.
Yeah,
and
they were in another building across the way, getting coffee or
whatever. And, I thought about 9/11, the number of people that told stories about how frustrated they were that morning because they were running late, and how they felt like, they're going to get into so much trouble because they're running late. And it was the biggest blessing of their lives.
Absolutely.
I mean, obviously. So, and Jackson brought up Seth MacFarlane.
That's right, because he was supposed to be on one of the planes, right?
And he woke up, he was hungover, he was late, and he rescheduled his plane. I think that's the right story. Is that he was in New York, and he was supposed to be on one of the planes, and he eventually rescheduled it. So I mean, unanswered prayers, man. But we pray for those folks, because that's just that's brutal. And I think you mentioned it, that in a community that rural, everybody knows everybody. Everybody sees everybody at the grocery store. Everybody sees everybody at the gas station, and all of those people are hurting out there.
Well, yeah, the community is absolutely devastated. But your kids play together, right? Like I'm sure the sheriff probably has kids who probably knew their kids all go to school, and knowing that your dad or mom isn't coming home today, you had no idea. Your husband, your wife, it's just, it's gone. I mean, your life has changed in a second. It's over.
It's a sad situation. So we will obviously continue to update folks on that this afternoon and try to make some sense of it. What the heck went wrong? I don't know. I mean, what do you say? I mean, and I was also thinking about this after I saw the site map, is like, I understand that there are very qualified people that are experts in the field of attempting to put all of that mentally or actually back together. It's like plane crashes where they try to literally put the pieces back together to figure out what happened. And I wouldn't know where to start. I wouldn't know where to begin to try to figure out how all of this happened.
And several people were texting in, said, few people have texted in today, said that they used to work there, and they broke down kind of some of the stuff, but they said something like that, you may not be able to find out, because there may be nothing left where you're going to go, well, it was an electrical thing, or was sabotage, or it was, you may never be able to, find that out, because how do you find out stuff from just what's left of dirt?
Right. And, when there's a house fire, for example, there are things left, and you can kind of focus in on what got hottest. So that's going to put us to the area that the fire started. And then we can try to figure out, was it electrical? Was it this, that, or the other thing? And this, there's no hot spot. There's no nothing.
There's no
Good
structure.
gracious.
It's nothing. Nothing.
Hey,
What else? Anything fun stuff you're going to talk about?
What do you have going on this weekend? That's what I want to know.
I am going to maybe play some golf.
Oh, I wish I could play some golf.
Actually, the shirt you're wearing.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I'll tell you what fun stuff I got coming up on the show.
Yeah.
Dr. Abigail the abuser.
Oh, really?
In studio today.
Is going to Abigail abuse you?
As she is going to talk about what a wimp I am. I fully expect.
That'll be awesome.
So get your questions ready for Dr. Abby, my physical therapist, a.k.a. Abigail the abuser.
The abuser, straight ahead. You guys have a good weekend. We'll do it again on Monday.